So Microsoft ended up shutting up a couple of game studios, and as you can see, the meme explains it right here when it comes to Tango Gameworks, 80 Asian employees, too expensive, shut it down. However, they do have $150 million to throw away on diversity. Because this is what gamers want. I mean, how can you enjoy a game? Look, how can you enjoy a game if the gender and the racial makeup of the developers that made it in the cubicle isn't diverse? Can you actually enjoy it? No, of course not. So this is why Microsoft is giving $150 million on it. It's also interesting because on one hand, you got Asian studios, which have a different take on entertainment. Those get to be shut down. But isn't Microsoft promoting and championing diversity? Oh, aren't they excellent peoples? Peak human condition. This is what really annoys me with modern culture. Everything is so performative, isn't it? Like when it's about like diversity, yeah, isn't it interesting to hear diverse perspectives coming from enriching different cultures, and you actually have companies just doing the one culture, the one above all, the Californian under the shepherds of the Democrats. Yeah, it is what it is. The Evil Within was one of those companies. Very upsetting. And you can tell that the people who made Evil Within were genuinely passionate about survival horror. I remember when the game came out, I was actually a big fan of the survival horror genre. And many people blame them for ripping off Resident Evil, which they kind of did. I mean, if you played the first Evil Within, had a lot of inspirations from both Silent Hill and Resident Evil. But you get to feel the passion. You get to feel that the people who played those games really liked them and they wanted to make something similar. They weren't very creative, but still, they did manage to put their soul into those games. So if you played the first Evil Within, and you also liked Resident Evil 4, you'll notice a lot of similarities. But the second one was actually really great. I love the second Evil Within. Really underrated game. Unfortunately, it's very unlikely we're going to hear more from it. Yeah, people ask why is Microsoft doing this? Like, are they shutting down the competition? Why are they buying studios just to shut them down? It's due to the IP. Like, this is what matters in current day. They do not think, alright, well, this is a very creative person. Maybe they can create a great game. No, it's like, oh, people love this IP. Well, if we buy the IP, people will just buy our product. So even if we make it slop, even if we make it complete garbage, it's the IP alone that the suckers are going to come in and then we can milk them of money. That is the mentality of the modern industry. And the sad reality is that the creative people do not get promoted. The people that get promoted are the ones that know how to climb the corporate ladder. It's basically like the popular kid in high school. You know, like the popular kid in high school doesn't necessarily have straight A's. Often than not, they may even have poor grades. But they're popular because they say the correct things, they attend the correct events, they're friends with the correct people. And it's kind of like this in modern gaming right now. Meanwhile, the ones that are creative, they're the ones that annoy and are the most upsetting. Because a creative person, like someone who genuinely has passion over the product, well, they're going to constantly go in and say, well, I don't like this, and this may be done better, and maybe we can do this here and there. They're very unpredictable. You don't know when they're going to come up with something. They don't want to do things the correct way, and it's those individuals that often get fired, often get in trouble with HR. Those are the individuals that are actual gamers and they understand the gaming community and they like to spend time on social media, so they say a lot of stuff that may be controversial and will get them in trouble. And instead you get the corporate drones, the ones that just do what they are told, the ones that go to work in order to do the job, to perform the things that needs to be performed so that they can go home. And unfortunately, you're not going to get good quality products with that. And when eventually you do have like some studios that have people with passion, that have people that want to make a good product, Well, they usually make one good product and then they get bought off by a company like Microsoft so that they can get fired and shelved. It's absolutely despicable. And then you have like games that can't be made today because of political correctness. Like for instance, Red Alert. Red Alert is one of my favorite games, and it's about an alternative history where Hitler is not allowed to rise to power, so the World War II doesn't happen as we know it. But instead, Stalin becomes incredibly powerful, and he launches World War II. And you have like this really fantastic, over-the-top strategy game. They would never make it today. I mean, can you imagine making communists the bad guys? Or if anything, if they were to make it today, they would probably somehow say, well, actually, America evil, you know, and the Soviet Union is good. Red Alert 3, in my opinion, was really great. I don't know why it didn't catch up, but they also had Japan, and Japan had mechs and anime girls and shit. Like, they had this anime girl which had superpowers, and she could float and just destroy battlefields with a point of her finger. Was really amazing. We're never going to get that. We're never going to get that. It's a game that's bought, shelved. Even if someone else wanted to make something similar, they would be afraid that Microsoft can sue them for copyright and shit. It is so sad. And what's more sad is the fact that every single time you get news coming out from these companies that, you know, you should like, or like 10 or 15 years ago I used to enjoy, now it's another bad news. Now it's something else, and it's how it's fucking the customers a bit more. Yeah, I'm really, really sad because of the evil within. There aren't that many games that do survival horror because, let's be honest, most people don't like horror. Like, it's a niche. Unfortunately, people don't like to be scared. It is what it is. And you get to see with Resident Evil, right? Like, they're making Resident Evil 7. It goes back to its roots. It's horror, and a lot of the fans love it. And then they move away from that, you know? Like Resident Evil 2 remake, horror game, excellent. Everyone likes it. They make Resident Evil 3 remake, they remove the horror, they make it more action-packed. It is what it is. It's sad, but unfortunately, if you like niche things, you don't get niche things. You need to get the slop that everyone else enjoys, and this is how these corporations think. This is why they constantly cancel all of these studios that make something. It's like, well, yeah, but it's too niche. We need to make it for the modern audience. We need the modern audience, and it's like, good God. Anyway, right, let me know what you think, and if you want to support my channel, there is a link into the pinned comment section, which can take you all the way to my subscribe star, and there's also another link that can take you to my live stream in case you want to hear me live for whatever reason, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.